"I went east to find the well." These words echo through the annals of history, marking one of the most perplexing mysteries in the People's Republic of China. Behind this simple sentence lies the enigmatic tale of a renowned scientist who vanished without a trace in the desolate expanse of Lop Nur, where the winds whisper secrets of ages past. Today, a solitary stone memorial stands amidst the relentless winds of the Lop Desert. Etched in complex red strokes is the name, Peng Jiamu. Though unassuming, it represents the lingering mystery surrounding the fate of this ordinary yet extraordinary man. But how could such a famous scientist disappear into Lop Nur, and what happened before he disappeared? Peng Jiamu was born in 1925 in Guangdong Province. His fascination with nature led him to study biology at the Central University of China. He became a respected biochemist at the Shanghai Institute of Biochemistry and Cell Biology. His personal obsession was to reconcile laboratory research with the secrets of the natural world. In 1956, the 31-year-old Peng Jiamu gave up the opportunity to go to Moscow, the Soviet Union, to learn nuclear magnetic resonance technology because he was eager to earn a chance to explore remote Xinjiang province, its landscape, its endemic species, and the potassium levels in its dust bowls. In the 1950s, China's industrialization was just beginning, and it was in urgent need of natural resources, such as oil and precious metals. China's vast territory and abundant natural resources was to provide a solid backing for the development of industrialization. In this context, the central government organized a resource survey team to find important resources for oil and precious metals in Xinjiang. Peng Jiamu was one of them. In 1957, Peng Jiamu, who had just been in Xinjiang for about a year, suffered from a malignant tumor and had to interrupt his scientific research and return to Shanghai for treatment. Relying on strong willpower, Pengam overcame the disease. In this mysterious land of Xinjiang, the most attractive to scientists is Lop Nur. Xinjiang Lop Nur is also known as the Sea of Death, which contains the famous ancient kingdom of Lulan, which once served as the throat of the Silk Road and prospered to the extreme. Later, the lake dried up. The ancient kingdom of Lulan fell, and Lop Nur became a desert gobi, inaccessible and covered with a more mysterious veil. Today, the desert is an archaeological jackpot, with well-preserved tombs, a cemetery dating back to the Bronze Age, buildings, Buddhist monasteries, and mummified remains. These are the only remnants of that region's former glory. Why is Lop Nur so mysterious? In 1949, a plane flying from Chongqing to Urumqi disappeared inexplicably and has not been seen since. However, just 9 years later, it was discovered that the mysterious Lop Nur appeared on the plane, and everyone in the cabin was dead. What happened? No one knows. Later, when the United States visited, it brought 3 things, and one of them was a satellite image of Lop Nur. It's like an ear. The mystery of Lop Nur attracted the attention of the state, and since then, the investigation of Lop Nur has directly risen to the national level. Naturally, Lop Nur also attracted the attention of ever-so-curious Peng. Science, the ever-optimistic Peng said, is to walk a road not traveled by other people. In 1964, the test team circled Lop Nur and took samples from the surrounding area, believing that there might be scarce heavy water resources in Lop Nur. Heavy water is an important resource that is not available for the manufacture of nuclear energy. In 1979, Peng Jiamu was invited by CCTV to go to Lop Nur again as a consultant to photograph the magnificent landscape of Lop Nur and further unveil the mystery of Lop Nur. The 55-year-old Pengam prepared for the expedition, made a thorough plan, and began his third Lop Nur adventure. The first 2 trips to Lop Nur made him extremely prepared for this one. This time it ends in the lake basin of the Lop Nur hinterland, which no one has ever set foot in. On June 5, 1980, the expedition led by Pengam crossed Lop Nur from north to south and arrived in Milan. It was a day of national celebration, as the mission that foreign explorers did not complete was first broken by Chinese scientists. Peng's 1980 expedition to the Lop Desert encountered early challenges. They went during one of the harshest times of year. Pengam and the expedition team came all the way to the edge of Lop Nur and crossed Yadan to the basin of Lop Nur Lake. The site was inspected, photographed, and sampled to complete the mission to Lop Nur. The plan was also successfully completed. They also succeeded in setting a century record for the first time that a Chinese expedition team crossed Lop Nur and recorded the geomorphological center. At this point, they decided to return along the Silk Route. At this time, Peng Jiamu suggested continuing to the east of Lop Nur to investigate about 900 gongli, which was not planned, and they did not make unnecessary preparations. This proposal was rejected by the other team members. Because Lop Nur is too dangerous, if you are not careful in the harsh climate, you may be buried here. At this time, why was Pengam so anxious to continue to move east? Why rush to take such a risk? The return trip was not smooth, and the expedition team ran out of drinking water and gasoline at the 400 road from the endpoint. In this situation, the team members proposed to request support. At that time, scientific research funds were relatively tight, and it cost about 7,000 yuan to support water delivery. After thinking about it, Pengam only asked the team members to report on the lack of water and did not ask for immediate support. After the telegram was sent, they camped in place, and Pengam set up a simple tent next to the small rock pile next to the car. On the morning of 17th of June, the rescue team called back to agree to support. At 1 p.m., when the team members went to the car to collect supplies, they did not see Peng Jiamu, but found a small note in the atlas. The content of the note was short, but the team members were very surprised. I went east to find the well. And with this sentence, Pengam left the team to find a source of water. Just 5 days into the expedition, Peng ventured into the emptiness of Lop Nur, alone in search of water. He never returned. Peng Jiamu's disappearance shook the nation, and the Chinese government launched an expansive rescue effort, with help from the military and police. Over the years, several mummified remains and skeletons have been dug up and subjected to DNA analysis. Although one of the mummies turned up near where the scientist went missing, there has been no DNA match. Since he was a seasoned explorer, familiar with the dangers of this desert, people were convinced that his death was not an accident. Yet even Marco Polo described in his writings how easy it was to get lost in the desert. Peng's disappearance prompted wild conspiracy theories. The Lop Desert was the site of nuclear weapons testing from 1959 to 1996. It was also a restricted military zone, and people were not allowed to roam freely. Peng seemingly disobeyed orders by setting off on his own. Perhaps he stumbled on something he should not have seen. Some believe that Peng might have defected, or that the Americans or Soviets kidnapped him. The son of a top Chinese Communist Party official made a wild claim that he had spotted Peng at a restaurant in Washington, D.C. The idea of alien encounters even made their way into the conversation. During the investigation, a colleague suggested that Peng was terminally ill with cancer, but had insisted on pursuing his research, despite physical weakness. In 1957, he was, in fact, diagnosed with a tumor, but he had recovered. Had the disease returned? Peng left camp that day with just his 2 cameras and a water bottle. Was it a suicide mission? Was he killed by his colleagues? Who really knew? More reasonably, it is possible that he fell while scouring the hills, which were very unstable with loose soil and rocks. His remains are probably buried in the drifting sands of the Lop, too deep to retrieve. The Lop Desert has racked up a considerable body count in modern times, from radiation poisoning and as conditions worsened from climate change. In 1996, Chinese explorer Yu Chunxun died of dehydration when trying to cross Lop Nur. An additional 6 skeletons turned up between 2005 and 2007. The desert has rightly earned the nickname Asia's Devil's Triangle. The Chinese government continues to regard Peng as a revolutionary martyr for science and exploration. In his country, he has become a symbol for scientific progress and for exploring the unknown. Yet, an air of ambiguity and mystery still surrounds his fate. Perhaps one day, his remains will turn up and he will be buried in a manner befitting that of a national hero. Even then, however, it is unlikely that all the conspiracy theories will be buried with him. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring. Follow us for more interesting tales from the past.